Literally, he's asking where you at. Like, you're doing things that you really shouldn't even be doing. You know you shouldn't be doing them, but you're doing them anyway. Like, people do them anyway. That's the crazy part about it. Okay, so speaking of doing things you really shouldn't do for real, I wonder about. I've been really talking about a lot about dating lately. Okay, dating. Let's call it dating while black. Let's call it relationships while black. Dating and relationships while black. Okay, so I have some guests in the studio today. Which I'm very excited about. Okay, very, very excited to have these guests in the studio. All right, so I'm going to turn on everyone's mic and I'm going to let people introduce themselves. We're going to be talking about dating and relationships while black. Okay, mics are on. So we're talking about dating and relationships while black, and we're going to go around starting with the gentleman to my left. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, about your status.
My name is Rudy Cantave. I am a happily married black man.
Happily.
I've been married for how long? 8 years? Going on 8 years. I've left the dating scene a long time ago, but I do have some single friends, both male and females, and I do observe and watch the trials and tribulations that they go through, and I have a perspective on that.
Excellent. So I asked Rudy to come on the show because every time I would post about dating and every time I would post these questions, he'll be in the DMs like, nah, that's not right. That's not right.
Absolutely.
That's not right. Nah. And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to have you on the show. And so we've been having some spirited debates, I'll say. Yes. You know, some of which we agree on, some of which we disagree on. So I was like, yo, this will be good for the show. So you need to come on to the show. So yeah.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear from you.
Hey y'all, my name is Tremana White. I'm from Roxbury. I'm 35. I'm single, never married. I've dated quite a bit, and I've actually been sharing a lot of my dating experiences online via my Instagram. So if you're interested in my trials and tribulations, and also lack thereof, I suggest following me. But yeah, I think I have an interesting perspective. I'm excited to share with you guys today. So.
What's your app?
Oh yeah, it's at Tremana White. It's just my name, the only Tremana you'll ever know.
Ooh, Tremana.
That's right, white like the people.
Hey, okay.
How y'all doing? I'm Steven Soares. I'm 31. I'm from Newton, Massachusetts. I am a divorcee myself. I'm single currently. Like Rudy, I have single and happily married friends as well. As a divorcee, I have my own trials and tribulations and stories and experiences to share, but I'm just excited to be here with y'all and hearing about y'all stories about black love and to share some of my own. So thank you for having me.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, you do have a nice voice. Somebody told me that you have a nice voice. I'm not going to say who, but it's true. It's true. Okay, yes.
All right, I'm Sade Cantave. I am 39. Oh my goodness, I'm 39.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm 39. I'm from Brockton, and I am married. I've been married for 8 years, and I don't know. I always every time me and Rudy we talk about dating stories, and I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I did a little more back in the day, but I kind of looked through all my friends.
Did a little more what?
I'm going to say, no, you don't. No, you do not.
Did a little more what?
But I looked through all my friends' experiences. I absolutely love the stories. So, yeah, I'm here to add my 2 cents.
Yes, yes. I love Sade. Okay, guys, in case you don't know, we went to college together. Okay, we graduated together in 2007. So long ago at this point. What's 20? No, it will almost be 20 years since we graduated, but it's definitely 20 years since we started school. So we've known each other for quite a while. So I'm so excited to have these people here and to hear their perspective. Guys, if you have, I don't know if I can handle any calls right now, but I'm going to still tell you, 617-272-3387, or you can hit my DM at Kisha the Entertainer to weigh in. Okay, so first we're going to talk about what's been really going on, like a lot on social media, is people talking about the social media standard of dating. So one of our friends, one of Sade's and I's friends, posted something like, "Oh, y'all women in y'all 30s are gonna be single, like you're gonna die single with a rose." And I'm not talking about the rose from the florist shop. Okay, he said you're gonna die single with a rose and a cat, chasing the social media standard of dating. So I'm wondering, what is the social media standard of dating? And are people, in your experience, are people chasing said standard? Anybody can tap in.
I think I'll chime in as the single person here, single, woman here. I think that if you're young, let's say below 30, you might be chasing this like standard because you don't necessarily know what dating is. So you're young, you're looking to your left and your right. What should I be doing? I think in your 30s, you spent enough time dating to know that this thing works for me, this thing doesn't work for me. For myself, at least, I spent a lot of my time to myself, taking care of myself. A lot of my friends are like, Trey, you're like the one person I know who like doesn't play about herself. Mm-hmm. So to me, in my dating, I'm not doing the social media thing. I'm doing what works for Tremana. And I think that a lot of men get really pissed off that what works for me might also align with some of the values that they see on social media.
Yeah.
I travel first class regularly. That's something that I'm not turning back on just because some man can't. And it shouldn't literally upset you that I do that regularly. You know what I mean? So it's not social media. It's more about experience and then how you relate to that person.
Can I ask you a question, Trey?
You sure can.
So Trey's my good friend, and we are big on holding men accountable in our conversations that we have.
Yeah.
But before I even chime in, can we come to a consensus on what is the social media standard of dating that we are speaking to?
Yeah. What is the social media standard?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I'm asking y'all. What do y'all think?
Me personally, I feel like there's like a standard of men that have to. Every woman has a criteria. Social media. When this social media criteria is going to be, let's say, money's always number one. How they take care of the woman is number two. How they treat the woman, number two. What they do for the woman is number three. How they promote their woman, 4. There's a social media standard of how women expect men to be, and I feel like it's unrealistic for just a lot of people, especially as you age.
Okay, so before we go on to our views, so I think the social media standard of dating is that men should have a lot of money. Okay, they should be able to take care of their woman. And so I think we're just talking about heterosexual dating right now. Okay?
Yes.
So that they should be able to take care of their woman exclusively. Like they should pay for all the dates, especially in courting. They should definitely pay for all the dates. I think that's what social media is saying these days. The men should pay for all the dates. Don't take me to Cheesecake Factory, though I love personally. I'll mess with cheesecake. Okay,
they tell you the calories though.
But you can't go to cheesecake. Okay.
But I feel like if you're courting and in that dating era, he should be paying for everything.
So I would say this.
So that's the social media standard.
I would say this just from my own quick little unique perspective. Like sometimes, like I'm a pretty quick to adjust type of guy. So you figure out what the standard of what that person, if you care about them, what they need, and if you really care about them, you'll adhere to that. But being a man who was in a family with women that really push that feminism on teaching my sister, like, you do not need a man. Like women from the jump, you go in that kindergarten classroom, you can tell by the block session, women are advanced. You are further along than these men. So you don't need a man because my mom always taught my sister, you have to be careful on giving a man power and how that feeds into the power structure and how the dynamics work.
Yeah.
So it is hard coming from a family of go-getter women who are big on value. Don't get a woman that looks to a man. That's the way I was raised. You don't want a woman that looks at themselves, and this is not like that women this way are, but they would be like, that view themselves as meek or meager. You want them to know, get a girl who knows she's the showstopper, who knows she's better than you, and is willing to have you help build her and be a partner.
And I think that's what's challenging, right? Because I think women, at least it's been my experience that it's like some men like that go-getter woman and some men don't. And some men are jealous of you if, like what Tremana said, if you are someone who travels first class, if you are someone who, well, I don't travel first class yet, T, but if you are,
for me, okay, it's been the last few years. I'm excited.
But you know, if you are someone who takes care of themselves, who's a go-getter, who will approach a man, these sorts of things, some men don't like that. Some men are jealous of you. Some men be like, "Oh, you think you're better than me?" And it's like, I just think I'm. Well, that's the thing.
So,
which type of men?
Those insecure men.
So I would absolutely say it's those type of insecure men, but the men who are okay with that, and have no problem with that, there's less men out there that.
Oh, I know.
The odds are less. So
Yeah.
if you have a standard which is higher, the probability of you finding a man like that is going to be less.
Absolutely.
And are you okay with that?
Absolutely. I majored in economics. I understand.
So see, but I feel like a lot of women don't understand
do.
that. I feel like a lot of women don't understand that. Or not, and men too. They don't comprehend.
Yeah.
Like a man would look at you and then feel some type of way because you have your standards, and not be. And,
It's like-
and get upset with it. But no, it's
Right.
it's affordability. It's what you can afford, and that's physical. That's financial. It's mental. It's social. It all comes down to affordability.
But Rudy, you know
Absolutely.
what's really weird, and Shay, we talk about this all the time. There's a weird thing going on social media right now.
Talk
And
about
sometimes
it.
I get frustrated.
Talk about
it,
that
but I
weird
have to
thing.
I'm my mother's son, my sister's little brother, right? So there is a group of men that we don't like the way those. I'm not big on the women that are talking. Yeah, I'll pay for it. By the fifth time we really care about each other, at least try to put your card down. Let me tell you, no.
Absolutely.
But you know what? That I've always being somebody who's been raised to look at patriarchal standards and things. A lot of that social media type woman that men don't like, I start thinking to myself, are we sure that men didn't create that type of woman, that they didn't set that standard for women to fall under? Because I know a lot of men that do like the woman to be in that submissive position where they pay for everything so they can feel good about themselves, so that they can feel powerful, so they can have that. So half of the type of social media girl that gets on my nerves, I know it's my counterparts that are really trying to create and push that type of woman out there.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. I'm literally on the ride over. We were talking about men are upset with patriarchy, which was created by men to control women. So you can't be mad at a woman for the terms of patriarchy just because you're failing at what patriarchy has asked you to do.
That part.
They've asked you to make more money and you can't. They've
That
asked you
part.
to be tall and handsome and, you
And
don't
you're
match
short
up.
and you're not cute.
I love me a short king, but short kings also know you have to win in some of the other, categories. You gotta have.
But she's short. You're short.
Baby,
That's
I'm
why.
short. I date short men. I absolutely do because they have value, but it's all about the value that you add. It's got to be, in your character, your values. I think a lot of men are very upset with the terms of patriarchy shifting. So I'm failing at the money, the height, the looks, the charisma, the intelligence, and now I got to be emotionally intelligent and accountable.
It's that part.
And be a community member. Man, fuck that bitch. Excuse my language.
It's the morning show, Tremana.
I know, I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. But yeah, I just think, men get upset with, this whole high value woman because they want to be high value men. But if you are not winning at patriarchy, nor the terms of feminism, then maybe you don't really have value socially, and that must suck, and that might cause some insecurities. But to me, learn, evolve.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Well, I feel like women have to learn to evolve as well. Because
sure.
Which women in our society right now get rewarded the most?
The ones with the BBL body. BBL Drizzy.
Are they rewarded?
Absolutely, because the
BBL
high value men,
Drizzy.
the high value,
Doesn't mean they should be,
the
but
high
they are.
value men, but those are the ones that you talk about that you're saying that us men in our patriarchy lift up are the ones who sell themselves the most. The ones who put themselves out there the most are the ones who get rewarded, and the men who are in certain financial brackets are the ones who most rewarded.
But you know what, Rudy, though? I grew up in Newton. The women that those relationships you're speaking to,
Absolutely correct.
they don't
There you go.
actually end
That's
up
what I was gonna
and they
say.
never
lasting
work.
48 years like my parents
No.
did. Like, you're going to have 4 things. We did the social media hierarchy, right?
You're absolutely
You're
right.
gonna have, there are 4 things that we really didn't name when we were talking all that stuff that's going to make a relationship last. You're going to be emotionally vulnerable, emotionally articulate, accountable, and kind.
Absolutely.
That is what holds a relationship together. None of that, your status, the car you drive, what job you got, how many social media followers. And that is the problem with the social
And
media
you are
standard.
absolutely
It is not
100%
what
correct.
holds relationships together. That girl with the BBL and an NBA player, I bet you I know 3 dudes that he got three dudes that she's DMing and
Absolutely.
4 girls that he's cheating with. So that is not actually what she should want or what we, I think, in this room would want. So
No.
did she really get what she wanted by putting herself out there? And did he ever want something that me or you, Rudy, especially you happily married, see, I'm a divorcee, so I can, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I would want. I don't know if people really want true love anymore.
Well, that's a good question. Do people want true love anymore? You brought up some values. You brought up 4 points on what would make a relationship last. I'd like to hear from others on what they think would make a relationship last. And that's a great question. Do people want true love anymore?
Well, I think people want true love, but I think it's the difficulty in what they are ingrained in their head as at young ages to try to find it. How to find true love. True love is from a personality. It's how you feel with somebody, how you talk to somebody, how you look to somebody, when you smell them, when you hug them, talking to somebody. Like that's love. But I think we have so many love has become so commercialized in our society. And it's
Transactional.
Yeah, transactional. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So it's transactional.
That word. Say that
That's
again. What was that word you said?
Transactional.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty because you're taught that it's a business proposition, it's a transaction. It's like, I do this for you, you just do this for me. No, I love you, we're together, we're in this, we work together. It's more, I guess that can be like a business, but it's not. It's we work together, we try to push towards something together.
Now, Rudy did 8 years.
Yeah.
You know how many different versions of his wife he's loved?
Yep.
Well, talk about it then.
Like,
Talk about it then, because we
I did a
here.
bid.
He did 8 years. So yeah, I was also married for 8 years and then separated for about 3. Recently divorced. And
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
We love freedom.
Yeah, and I feel like it puts me in a unique space for dating, right? Because I was married and because I have 3 children, also it's like now when I'm dating, I'm really dating for who I want to be with. That's
Intentionally.
it. Like
Yeah.
very intentionally. Like, okay, do you meet these criterias? One of mine is emotional intelligence. Do you meet that criteria, right? Because now I don't feel like, oh, I have to hurry up, get married so I can have these kids. Like, I already have the kids. When everyone was clubbing, I was taking care of the kids. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm outside and I'm dating and I'm trying to find these things, but it's really challenging to find someone who is emotionally intelligent, consistent. I don't even feel like I'm asking for too much. Emotional
not.
intelligence
No, you're not.
and consistency are the main things.
It's
And
so much tougher for you.
like I've spoken to Sade about this, I've spoken to Rudy about this. It's just like I feel like dating has really shifted, like from, I'm also 39. All of us are, I believe, in our 30s. And it's like, I feel like dating has just really shifted from back then to now. It's like the crop of men.
It's true.
It just seems like people are just not consistent. I don't know.
If I can bring it back to what you said earlier,
Yeah.
it's like men are also trying to scare us into settling. That whole, well, you're going to be, 50 and childless
Yeah.
or divorced with a cat in a Rolls Royce or whatever the hell kind of car you drive. And to me, it's like, it's actually not that scary to be alone because I'm better alone than in bad company. And
Yeah,
like, yes,
that
I would
part.
love to be in partnership with someone, but I'm supposed to be stressed out. Like, poor relationships can actually cause so many diseases for
Right.
women. And I just feel like it's not that scary to be alone because for women, we technically and generally speaking build community as we move throughout our lives, whether it's a relationship with your, pediatrician for your children. I bet
Yeah.
you know her by first name, direct line.
Deborah.
Like we build community wherever we go. And I'm speaking generally about women because I am one and I value women. So I'm not going to say yes, there are some women that probably ain't shit that exists in every facet.
Yeah.
But I will
Very
say,
good
generally
amount of them.
speaking, I don't think it's that scary to be alone in the long term. I'd rather do that than be stressed out, sad, and sickly. I just don't want it.
You know what men never talk about?
What's that?
How at 50 years old, yeah, you can Leonardo DiCaprio it. You can get a 24-year-old. When you
Leo
know,
can barely Leo
when you know
anymore.
those men, how many of them are really happy though?
I have uncles who literally confide in me all the time. I'm literally caregiving for my sick father right now, and I have uncles who are between the ages of 60 and about like 75 who literally will sit me down and they'll say, Tremana, you know, I really regret fucking it up with that one woman. I really wish that I'd had those kids. I really wish that I had treated women better. They're alone, they're sad, they're sick, they're struggling to maintain their medicines and maintain their homes. And
They
they look
can't
to, you
do
know,
it.
maybe their daughter, their niece. I help out where I can. But you end up sad. That's the thing that they know is going to happen to them because patriarchy teaches them
Which
that.
is, they can't scare. Tremana being girls like Tremana being
So-
single is a testament to how men fumble the bag. Because I know some of them boys is girls out there. They not worth nothing. I know we kind of talking about this is it's almost become woman centric, but I want to make sure we put it out there.
Yeah.
I know girls out there that you don't have a good man because you're not looking for a good man. But I also, you're not looking for the right thing. So you got what you looked for, and you thought you was gonna find something else. That's you. You played yourself. You thought that type of man
Which is
was the
kind of
type
in the
man you want.
BBL range of what you were talking about. What is reward for certain people? I think reward when you get the booty, and I don't think there's anything wrong with modifying your body to how you want it to be. It's just more of like, what are your values? What do you really want? If you want to be crying in the roast with the NBA player, go off and do that. But your reward may look different than myself, who wants to be.
They don't
happily
seem
married
happy
in a house.
either, though.
But it's like, I will say, right? Because I feel like dating between like my friends, like stories I hear from my friends and myself, it just feels like dating someone with money though. Like I'm likely going to be crying either way because men, I'm sorry. I'm so happy that there are
tears will
some
come.
men. I'm so happy that there are some men in the
Right.
studio because I just think that you guys talked about accountability. I just feel like there's not that much accountability from men. Like men aren't in therapy, men aren't emotionally intelligent. There's so much, and I do think it's the socialization of men, how boys are taught to hold their feelings in, don't have emotions for the most part. But I think that that's playing out in a very real way in adulthood, and it's just like I would rather cry on a yacht than.
And a Toyota.
But we
Yeah.
gotta give flowers though, Rudy. Like I just want to give you your quick flowers because we talking about a lot of bad men and bad women. Rudy looked happy when he was outside in that cold today. He's been married for 8 years. He's known different versions. That's people don't talk about that. When you get married, commitment is I'm committing to love every version of you that you'll ever be. That is hard. That is a lot of faith. You walking blindly in faith with that. And that brother showed up looking happy. So you can do it.
Can the married people speak on that? Can y'all speak on the every version, loving people through, loving each other through trials? Like y'all been saying trials and tribulations. I done heard trials and tribulations mad times. So dating comes with dating, love, relationships apparently is coming also with trials and tribulations. So can y'all speak on how like loving each other
want
through
me to
it?
speak?
Go ahead. I'm gonna
Yes,
let you
come on,
speak.
White.
You say something. Say something.
Get close to the mic.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen him through a lot of different phases, like, working, not working, trying to be supportive. And for me, a big thing for me is financial stability. And we have our family meetings weekly where we talk through certain subjects like our bills, Lennox, our 5-year-old son, things we need to do around the house. And
Us.
yeah,
Moving
that's
forward,
us.
and
Well,
then
come on a
us.
weekly meeting.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Us,
Let me
that's
tell
one
you,
of
when
the
households.
Sade ever told me about this weekly
Yeah,
meeting,
that was funny.
and then
We
they
had some
take
roses.
y'all take shots after the meeting.
We do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like, I want to incorporate that.
The spreadsheet.
He hates my spreadsheet.
Talk about it.
Because she got a spreadsheet. Shawnee's an accountant, so she got a spreadsheet. So
He hates to love your spreadsheet. That's what it is. He
no,
loves
I
that
know
spreadsheet.
this is a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
This, and I'm the we all have
Free
our
spirit artist.
Yeah, it gets
A
on my
little bit.
nerves because he'll ask me a question. I'm like, didn't you look at the spreadsheet like we just went
I don't
over?
look at spreadsheet. What needs to be done, get it done. That's it. I'll get it. That's it. That's me because everybody operates differently.
Yeah.
But we do try to accommodate each other's behaviors and tendencies. That's one thing that you have to do, because I know I get on her damn nerves, and I know she gets on my damn nerves, but I know what to expect, and I know how to counteract what's going to annoy me. Because
How do you know what to expect, though, Rudy? It's probably because she communicates it, right?
Absolutely.
And you're the type of man that cares about your wife
I
enough
was gonna say, that's
to...
man language. I'm like, 8 years, he should know, right?
No, yeah, you should know that.
No, because sometimes people communicate things the other person just don't want to hear. She communicates it. People operate on different timelines, right?
Yep.
I bet you her spreadsheet keep you operating on the timeline it's supposed to be.
But I'll tell you this right now. When I get her spreadsheet, it gives me. I'll be like, all right, I gotta do this. I gotta do this, so because I know her temperament. So that's a form of communication. So you're absolutely correct. It is communication.
And what makes you continue to like come back to the middle, I guess,
I feel like Rudy's really good with grounding me, and so like I get very anxious and like stressed out easily, and he's really good with like, you can't control certain, like, don't stress over things you can't control. So he's good at like kind of bringing me down and balancing it out. But I do feel like there are times when I need to like really just be on him, because he's too free. He's just too like, okay, yep, I'll handle it.
And
I'm
vice
like,
versa.
give me a date.
Vice
Like,
versa.
like.
I'm like, what's the date? When does it be done? Okay, fine. All right, so I know. Yeah, I like timelines.
And then when the date comes, like, tell me it's done. Why do I gotta follow up with you?
Because it's done.
Their relationship's so beautiful, and it
done.
really
I'm like-
shits all
like,
over
yeah.
that social media
Yeah, it
love
does.
that we were talking about,
And-
because none
but-
of that stuff they talk about was on our list of social media love.
Yeah.
But one thing, and I think we got together right around the time.
Like Black
for
Planet
that,
was,
yes.
and that
it was like Black Planet
yeah.
and MySpace time. MySpace.
Yeah.
All right, like, you ain't been married 18
Eternal
years,
days.
Rudy. Hold on, slow down.
Yeah.
That it? We've been together.
MySpace.
We've been together 18 years.
Yeah. So
Oh,
like
okay.
You're
they
the youngest one here.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
31,
That's
so
a long
he may not
31
remember
years.
MySpace,
Yeah, I'm
but
45.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
damn.
45.
Yeah, and I feel like that's
I
what
keep him young.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. I think that's
Yeah, like,
You're about to be 40 next year.
I
don't
think
rain on her parade.
okay. I think that's what's so beautiful about Sade and Ruby.
She called me Ruby. And I let her call me Ruby.
It's Ruby
They-
or Rudy?
Rudy.
Yeah, she
It's
calls me
Rudy, but
Rudy.
I like to call him
Ever
Ruby.
since
It's
I
Rudy.
met her, she called me Ruby. So
But like,
whatever.
because I've known Sade since college, like I saw when Rudy came into the picture, and he's still here. He's still
like to
in the
see it.
picture,
Yeah,
and I love it.
Amen,
People I've
Rudy.
dealt
Yes.
with prior, so.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's like Sade, I feel like what was so beautiful about just Sade in general, okay, is that she has, since I've known her, she's always shown up as herself. Like, I think that, I just think, Sade, like, you're someone who has known yourself for
Self-awareness.
forever. Like, I feel like there's never not a time where you were probably questioning who you were. Like, and if I were to analyze, I feel like, you have both of your parents in your life, and they're both very supportive. And I feel like they've always been very supportive of you, of who you are. So I feel like Sade has always shown up as herself. So I think when it comes to dating, knowing yourself is so important, right? Because it's like, when you don't know yourself, how are you bringing someone else into your space
Yes.
to,
Absolutely.
So what do y'all think about
And
that?
I also feel like just having like the support of your parents helps a lot. Like, so my parents, they're divorced, but because they're divorced, they give really good advice.
Yeah.
So like our weekly meetings, my mother was like, yeah, you guys highly recommend. We started doing that. It's been working out great. But I do feel like obviously the people around you affect your relationship. What were you gonna say?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
agreeing with you. What was
I would say that's true. I mean, I talk a lot about community in the session that we've had together, but I think it's absolutely true about who pours into you, who supports you,
Yeah.
who's going to let you know when you're wrong, who's going to also hold you accountable in the things that you request of yourself and of your partner. I think as someone, I would say I'm definitely myself. I'm literally, you get the same tray every time you meet me. what I find in dating, at least in my experience thus far, is a lot of men mask to acquire the type of woman that they think they deserve. So the buying the flowers, the fine dining. Like I had someone I dated for a couple years who did not work out. He didn't actually really like me. I've always been into fine dining. I do it with my friends. He signed up for that in dating me because we just dated the first time, broke up. Then he circled back and was like, no, I'm actually ready this time. He tried to blame his credit card bill on me after the fact. And I'm like, if this was never something you were doing prior to nor ready for, why is that now my fault? And it's, again, you're pretending to be something that you aren't. And you're not setting yourself up financially to be able to sustain that long term. Because we don't have to do that all the damn time. It's just something that, we can work into our schedule. I also love cooking at home. But I find that a lot of men tend to mask, and I imagine you probably experience women who do the same. And I think we live in a social media world that teaches you to not be yourself, because then maybe people will find value in who you pretend to be more than who you really are.
Yeah.
And if you stick around long enough, maybe they'll be okay with you then becoming yourself, because you're already invested so much time in.
And it's hard out here because you got men that mask themselves, women that limit themselves. Where does that leave the men that are looking for the smart women that'll make the spreadsheet, but that appreciate the way that I acquiesce to what they need? They're not looking for that, and that ties back to that social media thing. I didn't actually know how I felt about it when we proposed the question.
Yeah.
I do actually, after listening to these two beautiful married people, to Trey, who's my homegirl, to you, very insightful, as we're both divorcees. Yeah, it did fuck everything up, because a lot of the things that we're talking about that actually make a relationship, and the things that we're talking about that break, that keep us from finding what we want, most of those things are tied to that social media stuff.
Yeah.
I've never heard a man, how many men do you know that go out looking for women on Friday nights that are gonna keep them accountable?
Right.
How many women go out thinking, I'm gonna be really self-aware? You chasing a bag, you chasing status. I tell my boys, I tell my homegirls who have female best friends, don't come back to me telling me you met a man and the first 3 things, I don't want to hear about his car, his job, or what type of, or his income.
Right.
Because that's not going to hold that relationship. I grew up in one of the richest suburbs in Massachusetts. All them motherfuckers lonely, sad, and almost 80% of them divorced.
But that's the question, like, how and where are people dating to find people to date? Like are we looking on apps? Are we using Instagram? I was like, I'm about to just start using Instagram, about to just start sliding in people's DMs. But it's like, where is the best place to find someone who is of value, and these types of values, like accountability, emotional intelligence? Like, where are we finding people? Where can we find people?
Give me 1 second, Kisha. I want to piggyback of what you just said. Is the way men act, men don't hold each other accountable.
No, they do not.
And we don't. And this is something that I've learned as I've grown, especially in my relationship and my marriage, and having a son. I would not teach my son, to value certain things because you're in women, because it's only going to lead to ruin.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I teach my son to chase this girl and not be honest? Like, if you can't, like you said, a man taking you out, he's being fake. He's putting up a facade to date you, and then hoping we can remain after you like me. No.
But I feel like that is something that's like another conversation that I just think naturally, right? Women, we have community. We talk to each other. Our group chat is going off every day. Like, we're talking to each other. Men, I think, typically or have been socialized not to have these types of relationships with other men. A lot of men are not in therapy. And then it's like, who's holding these men accountable?
We have community.
This is what I wonder.
It's just not a healthy dialogue.
Okay.
I miss that.
So it's community, but
sports.
Right.
But
what about
that's the problem with
Right.
patriarchy, is it
Right.
teaches you to have these low vibrational relationships that are very transactional.
Low
based on
vibration.
business, sports.
I'm sorry, but women have the same thing with their matriarchy.
Right, but we have other things.
Some of y'all group
Let me tell
chats,
you
I got
something
female
about
friends.
women.
They be
This is
so
what-
low vibrational.
Women don't like telling
Y'all think y'all
each
saying
other about
something.
each other because they're afraid of ending their friendship. Like,
But it depends.
Wait, let me finish. When women
Now Rudy's right. 'Cause
I'm
we heard
sorry.
that he got money.
I'm sorry. Yes, he got money, girl. Oh, girl.
But he
don't
not
go out with
kind,
him.
and he
But,
don't
he's
like-
ugly. He's short, but he got money.
And he
Right.
don't see
Girls
you.
say this all
and
the time. He
value
don't see you. But he
Talk
got
about it,
money.
Rudy. Let's clap
Right.
back.
You
Let's
said
clap
that.
back,
Clap
Rudy.
that, clap, clap, clap,
Women-
clap, clap,
women
clap,
do
clap,
the same
clap
thing.
it, clap it, clap it,
Look
clap it,
like-
clap it. But I'm
And
saying
I-
we
wait,
have
wait,
more
let me finish,
well.
let me finish,
We
let me
have
finish, Let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Some
we have
keys.
more well.
Some.
We have more
Women are not.
well-rounded.
You're not.
Sometimes though, because if I talk to Rudy, I've been in therapy for
Relationships.
years.
Watch
Rudy's
this.
a husband. Our
Watch this.
conversations would be higher vibrations
Watch
than a
this.
lot of those female
See,
group
watch-
chats.
Okay, wait. Let him get his thought out
Thank you.
so we
I'm gonna
can.
give you a conversation right now, right?
Talk about it.
We with all our boys. I'm like,
You're,
nigga, your hair cut whack. Who cut your hair? Women went. Ain't no women gonna be like, girl, your hair whack. Who did your hair? Women.
We absolutely do.
No,
I'd
you
be like,
That's
girl,
how I know
fix
you're
this
not in our
right here.
conversation.
Like, put
Women
this
don't
down
do
or
that.
something.
Women
You know how many
Who
times I've
did
said
her weave?
your wig's
Her weave
slipping,
bad. Her
the
weave
glue
bad.
is lifting, babes, the
I
braid
ain't
needs
gonna
to be
say nothing
rebraided.
you Because we went out with somebody.
Curls
and I didn't
dry.
say nothing with a horrible
Uh-oh.
wig, and we sitting
Uh-oh.
there laughing. I'm like, did anybody tell her wig bad?
Tina Turner
Well,
had
even
that.
comment on the outfits like, babe, it could have been a different shoe. We just figure
Don't
out a
tell
way
me.
to say it
Don't tell me.
kindly.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
Oh
you
my
Silent
god.
Don't
Baby,
violate.
that's not my place.
It is.
say? Not
It's not your, see, that's my point. It's not your place. Whose place is it?
We also
Your
handle
wig
things
bad.
differently. So men like to public shame each other for the sake of a
Absolutely.
joke. Women, we don't like to
But
do
that's
that
how we
because
bond.
that's
Men
how
bond like that.
that's,
It's like
we don't
take
vibrate that
offense from
way.
it.
Okay,
Men don't take
perfect
offense from that.
example. Perfect example. Okay, perfect example. One of my friends dresses a certain way.
Yep.
I'm crying.
Not yup immediately. We don't know what she's
Okay.
talking about.
I
Yup.
do.
No, she better cut her.
Okay, and one of my other friends came into my DMs and said, "Listen, your friend dresses like this. Perhaps they need to not dress like that if they want to find a man."
That's crazy though.
Perhaps,
not.
just perhaps. It was
She
just a
gotta dress
suggestion.
differently. Find a man that likes the way you dress.
It was just a
No, you're
suggestion.
right.
Yes, yes. But do we live in what a man's world? We do.
It was just a
So,
suggestion. And then
trying to help the girl.
Listen, right. You know, so it's like I communicated to my friend and I communicated to both friends. I said, "Listen, that's how my friend likes to dress.
But I
She
don't
be
like
getting
that,
more men
though.
than me."
'Cause
Boom.
that doesn't support your point.
The
of I'd
friend
rather be alone.
just likes to dress like that. That's how the friend. But it's like we will listen. I feel like the relationship just has to support it. Like my friend who came in my DM and told me that she knew that we're friends enough, we're locked in enough where she can say that, and I know that she's not hating. I know that she's literally looking out for the person. Okay, and so it's like a relationship has to support that. I always say things to my friends. Oh, you could have done that. Oh, your hair. Oh. But to my friends, not to random people though, because I feel like the relationship just has to be able to support that. Because even sometimes when I do go to friends and say certain things, they still think I'm hating, So it's like you got to kind of be careful on who you give this, give your truth to, because some people really don't know or feel like they don't know your intention and they might take it the wrong way.
Yeah, it's a good fine line. It's funny. I actually, along those lines, I had a conversation with some close friends, married friends. I've been the 11th wheel before, so, I've been there, done that. They were like, "Trey, do you think maybe you could like calm your personality down in the beginning when you're dating people? That might be like, it might help make it a little bit easier." And I'm just like looking at them like, I come to you guys very safe, so I can be loud, ridiculous, say some like outrageous shit, and we circle back. But again, like you were mentioning to me to the side, is like I don't feel like I need to edit myself for a future partner. Like the whole of me is completely fine as is, and I'm gonna find that person. I think it's okay to give feedback at times, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't go into a date saying this thing or doing that, or maybe dressing in this particular way. But I think it's all about being like able to receive advice, taking it, reflecting on that, deciding what you're going to do with that piece of advice, and then going forward. Because you're right, you should be loved as a whole person. But we're all imperfect people, and sometimes we need a little bit of editing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And what would you rather be, Trey, if you're not going to be loved fully?
Oh my God,
By
I am not about
yourself,
to
loving
change.
And that's the
yourself.
thing. That's
At
the thing.
35,
I'm not
my
changing
God.
my clothes.
That's the thing. I just rather be by myself at this point. Like if I can't find a person, or if a person can't find me to love me for who I am, all my facets, it's better off alone, because you're dying inside anyway.
Because
Like
you might be fly though, but if I was your friend, I'll be real with you, just self-advice. I probably would have called you a hater too. What you telling me your truth for? That's not my truth. You don't like the way I dress. I like the way I dress. I'm gonna find a man, or me personally, I find a woman that like the way I dress. Don't tell me how to dress.
well, yeah.
You thinking those? Because
Okay,
But no, because stylists exist for a reason. Stylists exist for a reason.
That part.
But some people have
Therapy exists for a reason because
Yes.
people all have room to grow. I don't
Right.
have a really great tone in relationships. I know this to be a fact. In my relationships, men are like, Tremana. Even with my dad and my brother, they're like, your tone.
What do you mean by
working on that.
tone?
Like how I
you be
say
going,
things.
you be going in.
I do. I'm not the most tactful. I really am not. And it's something that I'm like trying to work on in my life across all areas. But it's also been a part of my survival, especially being a small, smart, rambunctious person. It's just like my survival is also being able to be sharp and poignant. So I think in dating, it crosses over. But knowing that about myself, I'm also in therapy about that. If this is not the first time this girl done heard that she's maybe not the most well-dressed person, and she could probably go look for a stylist real quick, maybe find a couple of great looks that work for dating. One of my best friends actually used to wear the same outfit to every first date she went on, so she wouldn't have to think about it, and she knows that this outfit works. And I feel like there's ways to work around some of your own personal
I like that girl.
limitations,
Do it. There's a lot. All this stuff we talk about, man. Y'all want her to be worried about how she dressed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
if she
this other
fits the
stuff-
one date outfit, she's good.
You need to find a man who don't care how you dress.
So that's my thing. Where to find the man? Because I'm
no,
actually
well,
looking.
girl,
You know what I'm
Definitely not
saying?
Instagram.
You're gonna need more than a podcast for us to figure that out.
I'm just
Me and
saying,
Rudy,
like,
you
what
know-
are y'all? What are you like?
Tell
Y'all
about
are
your
men.
friends, Rudy.
Y'all
Tell
are
about your
men.
friends
So
that you know
tell
and
me,
hope
and that's the thing. I do be asking.
I got male hopeless friends.
I do be.
tell them too.
I
I
don't
do
know
be
where to
asking.
find a man.
This is one thing I tell some of my friends. I say, you could do better, but better won't do you.
What that mean?
What does that mean?
What that mean?
And
Explain.
I tell that to everybody. You could do better, but better won't do you because you're searching just like for the man who spent all his money on her, ran up his credit card bill. He was trying to do better.
Yeah.
It couldn't.
And better
It
than do
couldn't.
him. And better than do
Fuck
him.
that.
So what
He owes me
should've done was-
$3,500 till this day. Okay?
Oh, we cutting in the
My
morning.
pocket.
What he should have
Today.
done was dated within his reason.
Okay.
I think people.
So that goes back
I
to the
think
affordability you was talking about.
Exactly.
It goes back to the authenticity.
Authenticity, yes. So,
Yes.
So you need to, and he wasn't comfortable in himself to understand that, I might want this. I ain't gonna get that.
No.
And which standard was he going? Was he going by the Rudy's marriage plan, or was he going by them
No,
social
he
media
was going
standards
by,
that
I'm
be
going to
clipping
the
it?
club. I see this girl. I'm spending money on all this, and I'm like, oh, but she don't like me when you go back home. Yeah, because you live with your mom.
But you know
Period.
what's
Like you live with
sad?
your mother, but you spending all the money in the club to put up a facade of
Mask.
somebody you're not. It's a mask, like you said, a mask. And that's why I said you could do better, but better won't do you.
Now, if I could add to that real quickly, this morning I woke up checking my Instagram, and men were calling me a prostitute on a video that I had posted. Yes.
Oh, I need to see this video,
Yeah,
girl.
what's your
Oh, Again,
I'll
Tremana
comment
White
that.
at Tremana White. Thank you.
That's why I had to have Tremana
Let's
on the
go.
show because I'm like, what's
Yeah,
happening?
No, Keisha, that was crazy.
I was at
I'm like, wait, you can't get
Crazy.
sides with your meal?
You feel me?
This
Hey.
man
at an a la carte restaurant.
at an a la carte restaurant, no less. I can't get a little mashed potatoes.
Oh, so we got to be better about
you're
first
saying
dates.
you're saying I'm eating too
That
much.
was the third date.
We got no that. I mean,
Yo,
girl, that-
wow.
yeah,
Now,
we
the
gonna unpack
video,
that
I
later.
basically was talking about how the gala that I met him at, it cost $1,600 a seat to attend. So I am one of 4 black people in this room. So even by existing in that space, we can probably guess that everybody there got a couple dollars. Like
Yeah.
the auction is very expensive. Like everything that people are bidding on, it's costing you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. They got some low end stuff, but even still, expensive. A room of expensive people. So on our third date, mind you, I'm single, 35. I lived in LA for 10 years. He is actually not 40. He's 50, but that was my own bad. 50, aerospace engineer. So he makes good money. He doesn't have any children. What else are you doing with your money?
I asked her
Besides
that.
spending it on
That's
How
a
many
red
houses
flag.
do you need, man?
super red
50?
flag.
That's a red. I'm sorry, 50.
Red
Aerospace
flag.
engineer?
Yes.
Mm-mm. See, when you talk about download, he probably download dude.
Now,
And that's why I put on the list. People be gay.
People be gay.
That's the other thing. Like men be gay.
People
I'm
be
just
gay.
talking about men right now. Be gay.
You
And
ain't
then
busy.
they just don't
Red
like
flag.
women.
Red
Would
flag.
rather spend time with men.
But when did they like women, Keisha? Like it's just this. When did they like women? Y'all only been voting for like what, like 6 generations,
Okay.
like 6 decades.
Okay.
So
they
let's
don't
talk
like
about
y'all,
it.
and they
Again,
running
the
back y'all
problems
rights
of
right
patriarchy.
now. They've never
Running
liked y'all.
back.
Y'all acting like brand new to this.
Okay.
Y'all all smart black women in this
All
room.
right.
Who taught y'all men love women?
Okay. So it's like, but what, I mean, should we still be looking for, like,
No,
I
we
mean,
should
we're trying to be
better
in
the
relationship
therapy.
with
Get them
men,
in
but it's like they
No,
don't like
getting
women.
them in
I would
therapy is
say-
still a work that I have to
No,
do.
I'm not saying you
No.
need to get them in therapy.
Men
We need
love
to
women.
support men getting
Men
in
love
therapy.
women.
Some men love women.
No.
What do they
Men
love about women,
They
though?
don't.
That.
A lot of men don't know how to love women. Let me tell you something too. My father didn't teach me how to love a woman. My mother did. Period.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Period.
He not lying to
And
that.
I was a Haitian man. All my uncles, all 117 of them, ain't never taught me how to love
Even though
a
they be
woman.
like, "I'm love you,
I love
baby.
you, baby. I love you.
I'm
You're
love
so
you.
beautiful.
They
You're
love
so
baby while she
beautiful.
cooking.
They love baby while she
I know
cooking.
Haitian
I'm
men.
love
They
you.
this, they love
I'm
that.
love you, baby,
But
chérie."
I did not learn how to love a woman from a man, from any man in my life. Period.
Yeah.
Didn't learn it from a man.
Yeah.
I learned it from a woman.
Facts.
So and I think in the black community, in minority communities, that's the problem.
But
That
you
is
know
the
who will
problem.
really cement how you love a woman? Your wife has taught you even more. And that's
Absolutely.
men don't understand the force multiplier that a woman
Absolutely.
is in your life. Behind you can go back to the patriarchy however long you want. Behind every great man there was a strong ass woman.
Yeah.
It won't no weak woman.
But I think they have to be able to value that to know, and have to want to do the work on their own, right?
Yeah.
Because like right now, there's a man on my phone who's like, "Yeah," I'm like, "You need to go to therapy." He's like, "You could be my therapist." I'm like, "Listen,
No,
if I'm your
please.
therapist, just understand. If I'm your therapist, that's all I am. I'm your therapist. I'm going to invoice you."
Right. First of all, Keisha, you great on the air.
Okay.
What if you're not qualified to be his
That
therapist?
part.
Get somebody
I'll be
who's
your
qualified.
Number one, and number two, I'll life coach you because I can't call it therapy. I'll life coach you, but
Yeah.
understand you'll be invoiced, and you will never speak to me in any other capacity than that because the work is personal.
You know what's sad, Keisha, though? For men and women, if you are not, when you talk about knowing yourself,
Yeah.
I've been with women. I've been, you know who I'm talking about. I've been with.
Don't do that to her.
Oh, you're right. Mom, let me chill out. We was cutting, so I thought we was cutting.
All right.
I've been with women that therapy, you can go to therapy. If you are not self-aware, it won't do a damn thing for you.
Self-aware. Yeah.
If you don't go there looking to better yourself, if you go there looking to just talk about all the things that have happened to you, now I could use Keisha for that.
Yeah.
I could tell you trauma dump on you.
Right.
When I got divorced, I knew at 25 years old, I didn't make it. I was a good boyfriend. And I was ashamed because that was the only time my mother's ever told me she was ashamed of me. You are a rare black boy. You had a example of black love, of how to sacrifice, of how to acquiesce, of how to. It's not always 50-50. Sometimes you got 10. She gonna have to have 90. Sometimes she
Right.
gonna have 10. How could you let yourself be somebody that made your wife feel unseen and unheard? And I had to take that to therapy and look to better myself.
You're also
Yeah.
too
You
young
were
to be married.
25. I know you were so young.
Yeah, I was. But when you see love like that in your household, I'm the little boy that when in 8th grade they was talking about what do you want to be when you grow up. All my boys was coming to me because they was like, you put down be a good dad and a good husband. That's what in my household was always king and queen.
Yeah.
This is how we get to this room right now.
But I think age plays a role in it. It definitely does because I think that there's still life you have to live. There's still experiences you have to have. There's still depth in yourself that you have to reach
Yeah.
But that is
to get to know
Keisha,
yourself.
That's an excuse though, because I didn't have to go and get down on one knee for a woman if I needed those experiences and those things. You gotta know
you
yourself.
didn't have to, but even the example that you were seeing led you in this way, like gave you this certain picture to be like, this is what you do. Like you love someone. Like I even feel like I got married too early, and I feel like I was in the church. That's how I know, that's how I know Tremana. This church, and it's like they were always like, get married, and it's like, but didn't really teach you like the weekly meetings. Okay,
That's such a
I'm
beautiful
married,
thing.
but what about the weekly meetings? Like
Yeah.
I only heard about the weekly meetings from Sade
Yeah, literally.
when like yesterday, not even yesterday, but like a couple years ago, right? So it's like, okay, tell me to get married, but give me the tools necessary to maintain a marriage.
Did you ever try that, the weekly meeting?
I mean, I was already separated by the time I heard about the weekly
Okay,
meetings.
I actually did try.
I'm like,
it
this
with
is so good.
my boyfriend that
I
owes
need to
money.
do this.
Yeah, so I actually got like workbooks, paperwork, and I'd bring it to him, and I'm like, let's sit down. And he would become furious that he didn't know what he wanted, and he was like, I think it's crazy that you expect me to just know what I want because you know what you want.
He
And
felt
I-
attacked because he's not emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I was older than you are now. dealing with this. Actually, no, I wasn't.
Y'all
I was
gonna
about
stop
like
sounding
29. I was 29. He was 30. But I'm saying it because I can only imagine at 24 without those tools that I had at 28 going through therapy. And that's when I realized I had to let go of this person because I'm like, you can't even workbook with me. Like, what else are we supposed to do here? Like,
But I love the way you always say, Stephen, give yourself grace. Keisha, you giving me a hella grace.
Yeah.
It is okay as a man to just say, I failed, and I shouldn't have, and I hurt somebody,
yes.
and I wish that didn't happen. But
Shame works.
when you understand it, how much you failed, now that gives you, if I talk about, well, I was too young and this and that, that sounds like I'm shirking responsibility. It's that I really sat in that failure. I want to be like the Rudys. I want the weekly meetings. I don't ask the girl for weekly meetings. She can take no accountability.
This is
She
why
don't
I
want
told
those.
Steven he needs to be single for a whole year by himself, not dating, so he can really sit with his stuff because he just got out of a relationship.
How long you been
So-
single for?
I don't.
2 weeks,
It's been
Don't
like,
do that. Don't do that.
5
3
days.
See, this is why I told you I was gonna get in trouble.
5 days.
No, it's been I
3
think
4
like 3
days.
months, right? 3
Nah,
months.
it's been more than that, depending on who you ask. But it's,
Real time.
that's-
look, we gonna skip that. It's been since when I got back from Seattle, so like September 15th. Again, depending on who you ask, we gonna skip this before I get in trouble on here.
Okay.
This is that accountability that I'm talking about. Is being
Yeah.
like, okay, let me like sit with myself and really think, reflect on what that relationship was, what it wasn't, what I need.
But that was different. What did I always tell you? My ex-wife taught me who I needed to be and wanted to be. This last girl taught me who I need to give that version of myself to. So I've been ready. I don't need to wait for a year. I need to make sure that I fix whatever it was that let me settle. Because I'm ready to find. I feel like confident enough that I've
Yeah.
built myself. I've sat in those films for long enough. I just need to make sure now that I hold those standards up and don't overshoot the mark on the guilt I feel about being a bad husband.
Yeah.
And make me give allowances to a woman who don't deserve it.
This is my single homegirl advice at that. You know,
Nah, I
the
feel
married folks are in the room right now. I've never done it.
Okay.
That sounds
So
Good too. They got me wondering. I'm about to get
Yeah,
his number.
you
type.
should.
yes,
This is
that's
why we need to be in community.
yes. Okay. So on. I love that, Sade. Okay, so on the wrap up, what is one piece of advice that you would give someone who is dating and looking for someone? What is your one last wrap up point that you would give someone who's currently dating?
Can I just say?
Speak into the mic.
Oh,
please.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so just from like some of my girlfriends who are single, they have these crazy list of requirements. Okay, they're like 40 years old,
Look like you got requirements.
don't have
You got
kids,
requirements.
don't want someone with kids. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, at a certain point, they're gonna have a kid or two.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you have this ridiculous list, you need to cut it down to at least maybe 3 requirements, and they need to be realistic. Like, not everyone's gonna have white teeth or be like 6'5".
Men, do you
I'm
hear
telling
how
you,
we have to
because-
edit ourselves?
Yeah, I'm
Not
telling
white
you.
teeth is crazy. Go to the dentist. What are we talking
I was gonna say you
about?
don't gotta lower the bar.
And I'm not
White
saying
people
to
are-
settle. I am not saying to settle at all. Don't settle.
Not
Halitosis
white teeth.
is cool.
But instead of having 30 requirements on your list, have 5 that are just deal breakers and stick with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no, my therapist, I'm gonna back this up. This is therapist, she was fucking amazing. Sorry for my language, sorry, cuss a lot. She basically said create a list of your wants and your needs, so 10 on each side.
Okay.
And then smack them together and make it a list of 5 from each. And then take that list and add that shit down to 5
To 5,
things. And those are
okay.
the 5 things you lead with, and then you build from there. Now,
you
men,
go.
you should be ashamed of yourselves that we have to chop our list down
know.
from 20 to 5.
I'll be real. We be having to chop
Men
that
chop
list
our
down
but we
too.
don't- It goes back to men don't complain about when they chop.
Because you don't gotta chop a shit down with me.
Yes, but
You know, I be having to chop it down, Rudy. I know girls that make 6 figures, and I'm wondering, what do you spend your money on?
Myself.
Okay.
Right. So what's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That don't sound like reciprocity.
You
to
just
me.
said
It sounds
we
like my
just were
wife.
allowed to vote. So and they're trying to take away that right now.
I'm
You
fighting
need to
for
be
y'all,
in my
though.
damn
Don't blame
Instagram
me.
telling these niggas to stop calling me a prostitute. Then you can start talking
I
about
believe-
respecting
I'm being
women.
your comments
Okay,
today.
you need to be telling these.
I got you. I'm gonna back you up. My one thing that
Support the women around you.
Okay.
my one thing that I would say truly to men specifically and to everybody is look at the relationships that have lasted. Look to figure out who your role models are for your relationship and think about what it is. Ask them, even inquire about what it is that made them last, and make that your guidance, your North Star. to bring it full circle, take that social media list off. Because if you notice social media, there's a whole lot of trauma on there. Look to the Rudies, to you, to those relationships that are successful, and ask them what makes it tick. And it'll probably inform your list in a way that you realize you haven't been tangibly moving in. And that would be my advice to them.
Awesome.
I think that a lot of people don't realize how valuable a relationship is. My parents have been married for over 50 years. So when I see the value in that, it's different because I feel like we don't see I don't want to say commerce, but that value in having somebody, it's one of the most important things you can have in your life. So
The biggest transaction, right?
Biggest
We're talking
transaction.
about transactional.
Yeah. That's the biggest commodity you
transaction.
can have is a relationship in your life. Is the partner you choose. So, try to foster, try to maintain, try to cultivate that relationship as best as you can. Because I feel like a lot of these, in this day, a lot of people give up on it really fast. And we're taught to give up on that. We learn that behavior early. And I think if you find a good relationship, it's worth fighting.
Get it? Not to step on Trey. I don't want to step on you.
You gonna step though? Go ahead.
I already step. If you're gonna step, if you're gonna step, you might as well step. It is a weird chicken and egg thing that hopefully we get invited back to talk about. As a woman, you need to be looking for a man that truly values you and cares about you, and that is hard for women because there aren't a lot of men like that out there. And
Again, men do better.
And one thing I will say, just to Rudy's point, is when we were dating, when we would say if we get in like arguments and stuff, I'd be like, nigga, I'm done with you. And he'd be like, no. If we break up, we're done. Like, done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no on and off. And then, obviously, I might have softened up a little. Was like, okay, fine. Let me just deal with it. But, like, when you're dating and officially, like, with someone, like, there's no on and off. You're just on. Yeah. And you need to just work through it.
I should have took that. That's why I needed y'all.
I love that.
Okay, as the single person, never married here at the table, I think having dated since, 19, I think my one piece of advice is to like approach dating with fun and like effervescence. Like you really have to go into it knowing that like this may not be your person, but this is an opportunity to connect with someone else. It doesn't need to be so damn transactional. And I think when you approach asking questions when you're learning about your partner, it's really important to like finesse your way around it. Some of y'all really have to learn charisma. It's going to help you in your career, in your family.
Hello.
One of the questions I like to ask men in terms of, trying to figure out their value systems around how they show up as a friend and a lover is, do you celebrate holidays? When's the last time you showed up for someone and what did that look like? Rather than being like, so how are you a good friend? Like, you got to stop being so, like, blunt and abrasive with your questioning. Like, a date should not be a checking off boxes. It should be a natural conversation around how do I get to know who you are in a really, kind of classy and, again, charismatic way. So I would just edit yourself enough to go into these dates being like, it can be fun. It can be a learning opportunity. I can practice what I'm learning in therapy. You can get really funny with your question, your line of questioning. And you never know, like it could be the next best person. It could be a homie that you meet. Let's like lighten up a little bit. It doesn't have to be so intense all the time.
And you're one of the best. Look, like y'all three, first of all, y'all three already signed up to be my support group. Y'all four. I will say this, though. This is kind of, I don't mean to end it on like a sad note, but I'll aim this at you as the only divorcee in the room here with me. She's so right about what she's saying, lighten it up. Don't be jaded. But when you know the consequence of choosing the wrong person, it can be hard not to feel a lot of pressure on this next person.
Yeah. And I think it brings me into like what my advice would be is going into it, just like Tremana said, going into it as I'm just not thinking that this is going to be your end all be all. So basically not having a scarcity mindset, right? And being willing to walk away at any point. When something doesn't align with what you had in your mind or what your expectations were on paper, being willing to just walk away and not staying for too long. And I think that's what I'm actually learning in this dating process, because naturally I'm just like a compassionate person, an understanding person, someone who gives someone else grace, and just realizing not everyone actually deserves for me to give them grace.
You gotta be a lover and a leaver.
Yeah, lover and leaver. I love that.
It's gonna be a wild Saturday. Y'all done started my Saturday off so introspective.
I know, we got champagne to finish.
I know.
We gonna need a beverage. This is my spreadsheet right now. I need a beverage. God damn.
The other thing I want to say, piggyback off, is we spoke about this the other day. Is matching energy.
Yeah.
And you spoke that you could see that with me and Sade.
Yeah.
We do a great job of energy matching, even though sometimes it's bad energy and we'll get mad when we get over it. We know how to. We vibe off each other's frequency, and I think that's important when you're starting to date somebody, especially now. You can feel that frequency, you can feel that vibe, you can see that energy, and it should always match and not be a facade and not be fake.
And groups like this are important, Kisha. I'm so glad you brought us together.
Thank
like
you
whenever
guys.
I talk to Trey, when I
Thank
call
you.
her, even though she hate picking up, it's always
People
a
be
good
busy.
frequency. Being in rooms like this where you can have healthy, respectful, open-minded conversations about Black love, there's not enough rooms like that, especially with mixed gender in the room where we can come to this melting pot. Like,
Yes.
this heals Black community. This pushes us forward, and I appreciate y'all for having me here.
Yes, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm about to turn off people's mics. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. And yes, I think that we need to continue to do this because obviously 30, 40 minutes is not enough time for us to really delve into all the things that we want to talk about. But I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all of your perspectives. Let people know where they can find you if you want them to find you.
Yeah, mine is at Tremana White, Tremana White, on Instagram and Threads. And if you're on Blue Sky, it's Tremanalicious.
Okay.
Step
Tremana
girl.
Delicious if you're nasty.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That was your
I don't even
OnlyFans
know what
name.
Blue Sky is. Let me write
They
that
gave it to
down.
the name
But
came
you
in
know what
college.
Tremana
Blue
Delicious is.
Sky.
I got a couple nicknames, okay?
I don't know what Blue Sky
I'm gonna
is,
skip
but
this
I'm
portion. I'm gonna let
It's the new Twitter. It's actually way better than
Yeah,
X.
I've heard about Blue Sky.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very Black. It's very community.
Ooh,
so
talk
yeah,
about it.
go to
Okay.
Blue Sky.
No,
I'm gonna
no
download
Nazis
it.
on there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna download it.
I don't really want to be found. I like
Okay,
them to
that's
find
yep,
them, but
that's fine.
All right, Steve.
That's fine.
You can
Okay.
find
But
me
you can
at
find me on his page.
you can find her on my page, Sassy Sade. And then you can find me on Je suis comptable. Je suis quinte. That's how do you spell that?
J-E.
I know I'm talking shit. You mess up. I know how to spell it.
Y'all
Let's
know
be friends.
spelling.
It's JESUISCANTABE on Instagram.
Word. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Kisha.
Okay, so. Oh, that's not right. Yeah. All right. So, guys, amazing. This show will be available on my YouTube. And just to close out the segment, I'm going to play a couple songs. Definitely Glorilla, What You Know About Me, because, I love that. And then Kendrick, Squabble Up. And then we out of here. And, yeah, that's what it is. Keep it locked in here. I hope you guys enjoyed what you were hearing. Again, this is Kisha, the entertainer, with the Wake Up on Spark FM Online. Thank you guys for joining 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. Today, we had an amazing conversation with some amazing guests. Make sure that if you missed it, you check out my YouTube and look it up. It was an amazing conversation about Black love, dating, and I'm definitely going to have these people back, okay? We had Steven, Sade, Rudy, and Tremana. We were doing our thing, okay? So, again, every Saturday morning, the Wake Up with me, your girl, Kisha the Entertainer, Spark FM Online. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. See you next week. See you next week.